my rule, that's the college rule. Remember we went over that diner at midnight and we talked about how that was both a narrative and a descriptive, and we looked at the points, you know, the points in the story where she transitioned from one place to the next, and those were her events in that story. So you guys needed to do that homework, and that is due today. Then I also handed out, so yes, well, you have the diner at midnight. Okay, so remember we went over this, and then attached to that is homework 3. So I don't have that from anybody yet. So that is due today, the answers to all these questions.
You told us last Tuesday that we could turn it in today.
What?
You told us Tuesday that we could turn that in today.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's due
Oh, okay.
right now. You need to turn it in. Everybody has the diner at midnight. Because we already went over that. Yes. Okay, now I don't give a grade here. Be sure your names are on your papers. This semester my policy is no name, no grade. No questions asked. I'm trying to figure out which paper it is. Okay, if you don't get things and you're absent, you need to go to the website and get them to you for your class. Okay, so that's that one. So we talked about that. Then, what I handed out that's due today is this. Remember this? So this is also due today. Okay? And again, if you weren't here, or you missed getting it, or you lost it, or whatever, you need, I don't accept late work, so you need to go to the website and get it, and do it, and bring it to class on the day it's due. So again, this is, you know, more of my tough stuff, but it really is just, I'm actually pretty easy compared to some teachers who just don't even announce things, and they say, okay, where is it? Okay, so in this one, we'll work through this. So if you have this, get this one out. So we'll talk about this a little bit today. Usually we do this, like the homework, you guys are working with the homework, but then we spend some time going over it in class. Okay, so remember what we're doing is a narrative. Now, some of you wrote a narrative, which was fine, because one of the choices on the descriptive paragraph assignment was to narrate an event. It was to describe an event. So some of you, but that one is always tricky because people tend to just, like I said, tend to describe whole trips to Hawaii and try to get everything in, and that doesn't really work for a descriptive paper. So again, on this event, we found that we don't want to try to narrate an event that goes on for days and days, or even hours and hours. You have to kind of narrow it down, okay? Like Camille Willingham did in the diner. Like we said, that narrative only took 10 minutes. Now these are a little bit different. These two events here are a little bit different. They do take place over a longer period of time, but it's still pretty focused. So I'm trying to get you to look at different examples of narrative paragraph. Okay, and remember that your other homework that is not due today, but that you should have done at this point, is you needed to get down to, at least down to number 4 on this worksheet, okay? So what we're looking at today is topic sentences for narrative paragraphs. Okay, so a topic sentence, which in this class is going to be the first sentence in your paper, okay? I want to have everybody have it at the top because I want to see that what you think is your topic sentence is what I think is your topic sentence. Some of you already have had instruction, if you took 321, that the topic sentence doesn't necessarily always have to be the first sentence. Sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes it's at the end. But like I said, these first two paragraph assignments is to get us all on the same page as far as what we're talking about. So the topic sentence, I'm sorry about this board being so hard to see. Okay. That's a little darker. Is A going to be the first sentence? And everybody knows that this, everybody knows what that means, right? I use that as a kind of shorthand. What does that
Paragraph.
mean? Paragraph, yeah. I use that just so I don't have to write everything out. Okay. Your book doesn't call what this topic sentence needs a dominant impression this time, right? It calls it a, what? I had this up on the board last night. What is what I call the argument? Remember I said this, the book called it dominant impression, I call it an argument. What does your book call it for narration? Anybody remember? It was a dominant impression in,
It makes the story.
yeah, it was a dominant impression in the description paragraph. In narration, they want a point to your story. So your topic sentence can't just say, last summer I went to Mexico. That's what's called a statement of fact. And that's what I'll write on your papers, is a statement of fact. That happened. Nobody's gonna argue with you. Yeah, last summer you went to Mexico. That's a fact. That happened. Okay? You need to have a reason in your first sentence why you have chosen this trip to talk about. Why you have chosen this event. Here's one way to think of it. What did you learn from that trip? And what are you trying to tell your reader that you learned? Okay? So it needs to have a point. Okay? All right. So what's the point? Just reading this is your homework. Just reading this topic sentence. Here is the topic sentence of a narrative paragraph. The crash of a Brinks truck on a Miami overpass still raises disturbing questions. What is this story going to tell us? Is it going to tell us just that this truck turned over? No. What can you put here? This is, again, reading people. What they're asking you to do is paraphrase this sentence to show that you understand what it means. You guys read that paragraph already, so we're kind of backing up. What was the overall point of that story? What did that person want to tell you about the crash of that truck?
Not too many people gave back.
Okay, yeah, it has something to do with this, right? It's disturbing, yeah, not all the people gave back the money. It's disturbing in how people reacted to this crash, okay? So that's what you need to write here. This was, there are some questions about how people act when they're confronted with a lot of money that isn't theirs, okay? All right, does that make sense? So the next thing we need to do is, this is kind of called, this paragraph has, it uses this phrase, small events. So your topic sentence states the main event. You have one big event. And I keep putting this up here because this is what I call it. Okay? So the main event here is the crash of this truck and what came after. Okay? So these small events, the body of a narrative paragraph is developed according to time order. Okay? What was your descriptive paragraph? What was the order of the sentences in your descriptive paragraph? Did anybody think about that? I didn't ask you. But if we're saying this is gonna be in time order, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Yeah, what was the descriptive paragraph order? Did you think about when you did your descriptive paragraph, what order you were putting the sentences in? Probably not. Probably not. Sandra, did you think about what order you were putting the sentences in?
No, I didn't. It
No?
was more like trying to follow the topic sentence
Right.
and making, the points
Exactly.
that supported.
Yeah. And at this point, this is fine. Actually, Sandra was one of the ones who described an event in her description paragraph, so she kind of did that by time order. Some people like the diner. Oh, that's the description. That's the narration. What about that? This one. This is a sample descriptive paragraph. What are the order of these sentences? We're describing a bowl of ice cream. Remember this? Anybody see any kind of an order?
It's an expression of like the ice cream.
Think about it. What?
It's an expression kind of the ice cream, like.
Yeah, definitely she's giving these descriptive expressions of the ice cream. But even just like the diner paragraph, she has a kind of an order here. The first thing, she's building this sundae from the bottom up. She starts from the bottom. There's a brownie on the bottom. On top of that were 2 scoops of ice cream. Then she describes the right and the left. Okay. On top of that, they're starting to send tiny rivers, so she's going up. Then they were draped with a hot fudge sauce. So we're going from the brownie up to the top. You didn't even think about that when you were reading this, right? But you do have an order, okay? Then you have the hot fudge sauce, then the whipped cream, and then the chocolate sprinkles, the walnut, and the cherry. So her order of this paragraph is from the bottom up to the top, okay? Your order, and I didn't assign you to think about that, but if you describe a room, if you describe this room, if you describe a beach, a place, basically you made some decision, either conscious or not, to describe first the ceiling, then the walls, then the floor, then the contents. You see what I'm saying? There is a kind of an order there. So what they're saying about your narrative paragraph is that this is in time order. Your descriptive paragraph, whether you knew it or not, was in something called spatial order, which really just has to do with the word space. The person with the whipped cream took the space inside that bowl and decided whether she was going to go around or down, starting with the top, or what she was going to do. Really simple thing you don't really even think about. But in every paragraph, you do have to have some kind of order of what you're doing. And most of you did a perfectly good job without even consciously realizing you had spatial order in your descriptions. But each one of our different writing modes is going to have a different type of organization. This one is more important than the description paragraph. It wasn't really necessary to worry you about what order am I going to put my paragraph. And that just confuses people. One of the reasons I don't say it till later. But in your narrative paragraph, you definitely want to have, you don't want to have to be saying, this happened, this happened, this happened. Oh, by the way, it's important for you to know that before that, this happened. That doesn't work. Your reader just says, well, if you need to tell me that before, then why didn't you? So make sure you've got things in order. And it probably should come pretty naturally, okay? So these are going to be in chronological order, a series of small events or actions in the order in which they occurred. By keeping to chronological order, the writer helps the reader follow the story without having to interrupt. Okay, so think in terms of that. Okay, so what did people get for the small events here? Same kind of thing thing is our diner. She was outside, she opened the door. Yeah, this, good, okay, this was pretty, I think pretty easy to see. It crashed, then what happened? It sent $1 million in cash, swirling over the highway. Motorists screeched to a stop, grabbing what they could. You might have come up with more than just 7. I went through and found 7. But you might have, if you did, it crashed, $1 million went on the highway, motorists screeched to a stop, grabbed the money, people in the houses raced outside, some people returned the money, $500,000 was missing. People rationalized the event. They claimed to be shocked. Okay, so you may have come up with more than 7. But it's just a kind of exercise in getting your brain organized to think about how you are going to list the events in your paragraph. Okay. What's a concluding, we talked a little bit at the beginning of, okay, so this is the topic sentence. The body of your paragraph is going to list your small events. And that's basically going to be the bulk of your narration paragraph. Does each one of these events help in supporting the argument, which is that this is still this is disturbing? Do you think? Yeah, we need all of them. I mean, we need to know what happened. It crashed. All this money went on the highway. All these people. If you had been there, would you have stopped and grabbed that money?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Most of us probably would have. Okay. Anybody? Would anybody not
Support my daughter.
have stopped, or at least thought about stopping? Probably the only thing that would stop me is that there's too many people already there and it's too confusing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then some people gave it back. The initial euphoria, and I probably would have too. I was like, well, that was fun, but this money really isn't mine, so I better not. I better take it back. Okay. So that's what's disturbing. Is we have this idea, yeah, sure we would stop, but then how many of you would have stopped and thought, said, probably that I shouldn't do this. Okay, that's what this person is talking about. Human, it's human nature. So, why did a few people and only a few people bring it back? Why did the majority of the people not bring it back? What causes people to act? How do you pronounce this word? Everybody know that word? Virtuously, what does that mean? Can you guess from the context? What causes?
Very excited. Very excited.
No, that's a good guess, but actually it means virtue is a good thing. It means like honestly, virtuously, honestly. What causes some people to act virtuously even if no one is watching? What would you or I have done? Are those sentences, and this writer has them in italics, which I don't really suggest you do, are those sentences part of the small events, or are they concluding? What did you put for the answer to this? That's like, I'm looking at you because that's like the reading class. Are these sentences part of the list? No. These are the concluding sentences. So again, a concluding any paragraph can have a conclusion if you feel that you need that to make it clear what your point is. And I think this one does. It needs these last two sentences. Now we're left with parchment. Okay, do you think if this person had ended this here, would the argument about the fact that this is disturbing, would that have been clear if they hadn't had those last sentences on there? Anybody? No, I don't think it would, because it just narrates. So you have to have something that backs up your argument. What you're doing in this paper is backing up an argument. Okay, I think you really do need this stuff. Okay. Any questions about that one? So this is an event, unlike the diner. How much time occurs throughout this whole event? How much time would you say occurs? Yeah, a few days. This is probably a few days. The truck crashes, these people do this, that is real quick. But then in the following days, a few people returned it, but most people didn't. Okay, so this works, okay, because they don't try to tell too much detail about each little thing. Does this have any figurative language in it? Does this have any like a descriptive? It actually has a little, not very much, not as much as most of your descriptor papers. What about a crowded, rude, and crazy day? Is that? Can a day really be rude? Can a day really be, yeah. So that's that personification. It's giving the day the human qualities of being rude and crazy. We say that all the time, it's a crazy day. But actually a day itself can't be crazy. It's what happens within the day. People can be crazy. Sending $1 million in cash swirling over the highway. If they had left the word swirling out of there and it just said sending nearly $1 million in cash over the highway, you kind of get, well, yeah, just draw. You don't get this idea that it was, you know what I'm saying? So that's a good descriptive word. Does that make sense? Hundreds of motorists screeched to a stop. That word screeched. Does anyone know what that kind of word is called? It's very descriptive because you can actually hear it, right? There's a very fancy word for that you don't have to really worry about, but it's an interesting word. Anybody ever run across that in your high school English classes? It's called onomatopoeia, and it has to do with words like hiss, screech, that actually sound like what they're describing, the noise they're describing. Okay, Sandra, are you getting all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because Sandra can't hear it, but she knows those words. Okay, all right. What about the next paragraph? What did you think about this one as a focused narrative? Was this as clear as far as picking out this stuff as the other one? How much time does this paragraph take? This is a long time, right? This actually goes from her graduation from college up into becoming a TV journalist. So this is a little bit different. This covers some more time. But do you think that she proves her point in this narrative? Anybody? Justin, do you think she proves her point in that paragraph?
I did the word for it.
Okay, all right, so let's look, yeah, this is quite a bit different, which is one of the reasons I gave this to you, there's different ways of handling. First we have the diner, which is 10 minutes. Then we have the Brinks truck. which is a couple of days. Now we have this thing, that kind of goes over this whole person's life. Okay, first off, we need to, before I ask somebody what does she support her argument, or whoever wrote this, what is the argument? What is the point of this story? Diane Sawyer is now a world-class television journalist. Is she still on TV? I think this may be a little bit dated. I think she may have retired. I don't watch TV news, so I don't know. But I think she was on something, NBC News. I think she's not. I think she's older now. For a few months, she moped about her parents' house in Kentucky, stewing in self-pity. One day, she confessed her turmoil to her father, who posed 3 questions. Okay, so now we're getting into a series of small events. But does this have a topic sentence at the start that gives an argument? No, this is a little bit different. She had no, first he asked, what do you love to do? She had no trouble answering. She loves storytelling. What is the most exciting place in the world you could do that? Television was transforming America, and all the major networks were from New York, so this is old. That's not true anymore. A thrilling destination, yet daunting, because few women in TV, when she first started, rose beyond secretary or weather girl. Her father ignored talk of obstacles, however, asking only, will this work serve other people? She believed that a television journalist could help others by informing them, making them think, even awakening their compassion. Today, Sawyer credits this conversation with helping set her life's course. When folks request career advice, she asks the same 3 questions. What do you love to do? What's the most exciting place in the world you could do it? And will this work serve other people? If you can answer the first 2 and say yes to the third, you're ready to work hard. Where is the topic sentence in this one? The closest thing to a topic sentence.
What career she wanted to pursue?
Not for this.
Is it the career that she wanted to pursue?
It's, well, yeah, this is the problem. We have this narrative, but then I think it's the one at the end. I think this topic sentence, in a sense, comes at the end. When folks request career advice, Diane Sawyer asks them 3 questions. And then, it's not all there, right? We have to go back and remind ourselves of those. I had to go back and pick those out. So this is a little bit different. I think some people in the class could do this at this point, but I need you to look at this and kind of say, could I do that, or would I be safer getting my point up at the top and then going from there, okay? So what are the small events? Yeah, that has to do with her father. So the events aren't Diane Sawyer did this, and then she became a famous journalist. The events are, she graduated from college, she didn't know what she wanted to do, so she asked her dad. And her dad said, answer me these 3 questions. Now she asks people the same questions. Okay? So this is a little bit tricky. I would like you to think in terms of having your topic sentence up at the top, again, so that I can see what it is. If you do write something like this and I can tell that it's at the end, you're okay. But most of the time, what happens is people are having trouble with the topic sentence, and I circle the first one and say, get a better point of the story. Okay. Does this use any descriptive language? No, it didn't. This was just a straight narrative. Okay. 5 more minutes. Here's what I would like to do. Does anyone have, because the other thing you were supposed to, so go ahead and turn that forward, hand that forward. Does anyone have a topic sentence that you would like to share with the class? Because this was what you were supposed to do, is get down to this far on this worksheet. Anybody have a topic sentence? So, Sandra, did you give me that paper? Can I look at your paper?
No. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Can we look at
You
the-
said
you had
to
done
keep
that
it.
draft. Can we look at yours? We're just gonna look at the first sentence. Okay, so Sandra's way ahead of you guys. She's got a narrative paragraph started. So she has a first draft, okay? Let's look at her first sentence. Yeah.
The first draft is at the back. This is actually the second draft, just so you know.
Okay, well, okay, let's see. Let me see what your first sentence
All the way at the end. Yeah, there it is.
is. Okay, it's the same. The first sentence is pretty much the same. So she's going to marry a family argument, which is a good thing to pick, okay? So that's a good thing that can fit in one paper. On my first birthday, my eldest sisters were babysitting me while my parents were at work. Does that have an argument? That's just what happened. On her first birthday, her eldest sisters babysitted her while her parents were at work. Is there a point of the story to that? No. Now, we're going to look at the end. When I got older, I realized who I am. Is this an argument? Yeah. So this is, I didn't plan this with Sandra. I didn't say, Sandra, do this paper so we can look at it, going right along with what we're talking about. Like I said, I'm kind of looking for it at the start. If I don't find it at the start, I'm not going to right away say, you don't have an argument here. But I'm going to look at the end. Okay? So this is her argument. She understands who she is, but her family is still not accepting. Okay? That's the point she's trying to get across. So right now, we're just thinking about topic sentences. Okay? Good. It looks like she's in a good start. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
What I would like to do for next time, so your homework tonight, and this is where you guys really need to be, what's the word I want? Really need to monitor yourselves. The only homework you have for tonight is to work on your narrative paragraphs. You guys have to do that. What I would like to do, I always leave this pretty much open, continue discussion of narrative paragraphs, because a week from today already we have peer review. I would like to have everybody come up next time and write your topic sentences on the board so that we can look at everybody's topic sentence and make sure that it fits this topic. Okay, so your homework for tonight is very general. Jacob, what's your homework for tonight? The topic sentence is to work on your paragraph. Okay? I want to put everybody's topic sentence up here and see if everybody, just like Sandra, see if everybody has an argument and see if everybody has focused what they're going to do into something that you're going to do. If you want to send me something before then for me to look at, you're welcome to. Okay? So I will see you on